Cinema helps us imagine different futures. Through movies, we can imagine the future of society, as in Megalopolis by Francis Ford Coppola. Please don't miss this one. The future of biological engineering, as in Blade Runner. The climate crisis, like in Avatar, or the future of humankind, as in 2001, A Space Odyssey. Cinema can help us imagine different futures. And knowledge institutions, especially educational ones like our university, help society shape and build these futures. We have a responsibility to do so for the advancement and the prosperity of humanity. Our university is committed to advancing positive change through a global vision and entrepreneurial spirit and a humanistic approach, but also through a foresight mindset that prompts us to understand the nature of change. Our center has developed a foresight report on the occasion of our 50th anniversary, in which we aim to answer what are the aspirations of citizens, what are the expectations of citizens for the next 50 years, and how do distinguished futurists and experts, including our deans, weigh in on these same questions. In this report, we harness collective intelligence through 3 iterations. First, we design different scenarios and foresight frameworks based on existing literature. Then we surveyed 8,000 citizens for G20 countries to measure their visions on these scenarios. Finally, a panel of experts and futurists analyzed these findings to draw meaningful insights about the next 50 years. The scenarios we develop, the scenarios we design, cover some of the key issues we believe will shape the next 50 years, such as the impact of emerging technologies, the future of work, the climate crisis, or the role of education as a driver of positive change. So let's take a look at some of these insights of this foresight report. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it.
Well, first, we looked at frontier technologies and how these will impact our lives, not only individually, but also as a society. And as artificial intelligence will change the way we live, the way we work, the way we interact with each other, we ask citizens, how do they think AI will shape the world in the next 50 years? And we tabled 3 different scenarios. One in which AI integrates smoothly into our daily lives. A second one where concerns, whether ethical or safety-wise concerns, lead to a decline in use. And a third one that I'd like to call the Coppola scenario, one in which it escapes from the box, takes over, and basically conditions every aspect of humankind. What we see here is that our fellow citizens are relatively, have a good outlook and have a positive view about the future of AI as it integrates smoothly into our daily lives, helping us with our work, with our productivity, etc. And that is great news, right? Because it should be the goal that we should all collectively work towards. But note that a third of our fellow citizens still believe that AI might pose an existential threat. And 20% of our fellow citizens think that concerns are so big that they can lead to a decline in AI use. So how do we make sure that these more pessimistic scenarios do not materialize? We need a holistic governance from the design to the development and the deployment of these AI systems. This means incorporating democratic values from the very conceptualization of algorithms to a balanced deployment that, yes, incorporates and fosters innovation, but also public safety. And that is the way for an AI that works for all of us. In this report, we also wanted to delve into how technology will impact our own bodies, so the individual. And we asked about the future of biotechnology, genetic treatments, etc. And we tabled 3 scenarios. A first scenario in which we achieve personalized medicine, advanced healthcare, a very positive scenario. A second one in which strict regulations on biotech, yes, protect us from risks, but at the same time stifle innovation or stop innovation. And a third one, a pessimistic scenario where a major catastrophe led to widespread distrust. And again, what we see here is that the majority of citizens have a nice and a positive outlook towards the future, right? Because 48% believe in a future where we achieve advanced healthcare through gene therapy, genetic treatments such as CRISPR, etc., which mean that we will be living longer and healthier, right? But as these technologies have the potential to shape our bodies, but also our identities and the very essence of humankind, right? We need to, and our experts agree with this, we need regulations that prioritize ethics in the deployment of these technologies and reduce misuse. And this potentially means banning some use cases that might undermine principles of justice, of agency, and even exacerbate social and economic inequalities, right? And talking about economic inequalities, how do you think the world would look like in 2073 economy-wise? Do you think it will be more, wealth will be more evenly distributed, or do you think, we will increase inequality? These are the 3 scenarios that we table, and actually I would like to ask you the question. So, can we do a show of hands? How many of you think the economies will be more equal in the next 50 years? Please show hands. Okay, some of you. How about how many of you think they will be similar? Okay, and how many of you think wealth will be more unequally distributed?
Yeah.
Yeah, so quite a gloomy outlook, right? Yes, citizens agree with you. G20 citizens believe in a much more unequal and have a pessimistic outlook on the economy. It is true that there are some geographical disparities because Asian countries have a more optimistic outlook. Countries like China, Indonesia, India believe in a more evenly distributed wealth in the future. But here in Spain, in Europe, and most Western countries, we have a very pessimistic outlook about the distribution of wealth, right? And this shouldn't be a surprise for all of us. Because for the last 40 years, and you well know this, productivity and wages have been decoupling. This has led to an increase in income inequality. The technology and the more democratization of technology, made us believe that these inequalities could be reduced, but it hasn't been the case, really. The market concentration of capital, of skills, of innovation around tech is bigger than ever. So how do we address this huge task? We actually have a research program at the center dealing with this very same question, but reducing inequalities will mean doing things like leveling the playing field in the digital economy. It will mean doing things like implementing more balanced taxation systems or developing policies that foster more inclusive, digitally inclusive frameworks. And what does all this mean? Well, what it means is working towards a new social contract.
precisely a massive part of this new social contract that is hugely linked to the impact of technology is labor. We asked our fellow humans about their 3 scenarios for the future of work. Do they think that in the future all of us will be employed? Do they foresee a scenario with full unemployment? Or do they think that the situation will remain similar? Well, the results throw some very insightful comments on how almost 40% of us think that we will have widespread unemployment in the next 50 years. Actually, when you look at the results, once again, we see quite a positive outlook for Asian countries, whereas in the rest of the world, the outlook is quite more gloomy. So here in Europe, we should do whatever needs to be done to reverse this outlook. When you read the Next 50 report, you'll see how some of our experts keep talking about skills. Skills will be the digital currency for the future of work. And we see how tech literacy is what needs to be harnessed by our societies in order to bring new work and new social opportunities, as well as bridging the digital divide and supporting lifelong learning. So, kind of shifting from this not so promising economic landscape towards the also quite concerning environmental landscape, we asked our fellow humans and experts, will we solve the climate crisis? We asked them whether they think that we as societies will succeed in reversing climate change, whether we will fail and the situation will improve, or there's a third scenario on whether nature will self-recover. What we see is that most of us, almost half of us, think that we will fail in going out of this climate crisis. And this is actually, you see some of our experts are talking about how public sector, private sector, academia have this shared responsibility, this duty of, 1, limiting our impact on the planet, and 2, adapting to the changing environment. A very good starting point is here at IE University, we are super proud to say that we are one of the first Spanish universities to become carbon neutral. Perhaps, if you ask me what's the most powerful contribution of this report and this foresight exercise, I would say that we've been able to identify resilience strategies. So how we as a society are responding collectively to these challenges that we are facing. For centuries, creativity, like Mr. Coppola mentioned, has been our tool to ideate creative and innovative solutions to these challenges. For example, solving the climate crisis is not only an issue of problem solving. We definitely need to leverage our creativity to identify a cultural legacy that we can pass on to new generations so that us and our children know the impact and the place of their actions on our planet. And definitely universities have a massive impact on this. Education will be key to solving the climate crisis and facing these future of work disruptions. So we wanted to know how important will the humanities be in the future of education, because we know, we are certain that the way we teach and the way we learn will be revolutionized. But we also wanted to measure with this foresight exercise how people think it will be changed. So we asked, how important will it be? As important as other disciplines? Even more important? Or less important? And what we found out is that 83% of us think it will be important. And 43% think it will be very important because it actually brings us skills that artificial intelligence cannot replace. This is why humanities will equip individuals with skills such as critical thinking, cultural understanding, ethical frameworks that will empower us to control and take ownership not only of the technologies we use, but also to design them in all this myriad of technologies that is coming to us in these years. So what we want to suggest is to use technology-driven education blended with the humanities so that we can become architects of a future where technology serves humanity and not the other way around.
As we have seen, society is optimistic about the future when it comes to the role of artificial intelligence or other technological breakthroughs. But a lot of uncertainties remain about their impact on our economies, on our planet, on our lives in the near future. This is why we need to think about the future more often. Think about a future where we are not observers of technological change, but active participants, cultivating a foresight-oriented governance and ethical regulation of technology that serve everyone. Think about a future in which we use a technology-driven and humanities-centered approach to education to create solutions for environmental, economic, and social challenges. This is not just a vision, it is a call to action. We can all build a path towards a future where innovation serves humanity, education empowers generations, and empathy and creativity are the pillars of a new social contract. The future is like a movie script, waiting to be written. We hold a hopeful outlook for the next 50 years. Our guiding principles and value of diversity, sustainability, entrepreneurship, innovation, and technological humanism will serve as our compass in this journey. I thank you very much for your attention and invite you all to download this Foresight report through this QR or on the next 50 website if you have a foresight and curious mindset. Thank you.